right, we are back for episode 4, Mama. This is the 4th podcast recorded. Today is November 23rd, 2022, the day before Thanksgiving. We got a month left roughly before the
holidays.
Well, the end of the year before we roll into 2023. And I think on today's episode, we're gonna talk about, goals, manifesting your dream life, attracting, which I think me and you love to talk about, attracting what you want out of life, and how powerful goal writing is, and having a plan, and how literally we have done.
Yeah, it's almost magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still got to do work.
Yes, you have to do the things you need to take the action to be able to.
Yeah, it doesn't just you don't just think something happens all over. That's happened too.
That has happened,
that's
but
happened
you
many
have to
times.
act. You still have to act on it after the fact.
Yeah, I think having guys, you got to have an intentional life. I don't write that down and remind myself, because intentionality, being super intentional. Like right now, I'm being super intentional about growing this trucker 70s porn star look. I want to look like a 70s trucker and maybe / porn star.
No,
and I'm being intentional about it, right? But no,
I hate it.
It's No Shave November, and
he likes to torture me a little bit.
Yeah, Mama Rood don't like it, but I wanted to go with a new look. I was just trying to be somebody, and I think that's what I want to talk to you guys about. You got to be somebody. You got to be, do, and have to have the life you want, and you're going to absolutely have to be somebody, right? So I want to jump into that, right? Every year, me and Mama Rood write down our goals going into the new year, and I can tell you that the shit works.
It does. And we do it as a team, so it's a team effort, and I think that helps it even work even faster, and just to be on the same page with your partner is like really important too.
Yep. And I think if you have somebody with the same intention and you have those two intentions aligned, I think that's when like the law of attraction kicks in. I do think that there's a such thing as a law of attraction. I've seen it firsthand in our life. Yeah. Like I said, it doesn't mean you don't work for it, but when you take the thoughts out of your mind and you put it on paper and you write down your goals, no matter how audacious, is that a word? I think that's
I use simple words like big.
Yeah, big.
Like a big goal.
Audacious. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Big, audacious goals, and you write them down. What it does is it takes the thoughts out of your mind and puts it on paper in the physical universe.
It makes it real.
It puts it real because it takes it out of your mind and puts it on physical paper. Because right now it's not in the physical. Right. But you put it here, and then you have the intention. And I think the key to manifesting what you want is actually believing that you can do it. Yeah. Because a lot of people write stuff down and they're not intentional. They just think, well, I'll try to do this.
And they don't have the self-confidence.
Yes. Self-confidence is a superpower. And believing is where the magic is. Writing it down, taking your thoughts out, putting on paper, being intentional, like I'm going to do this and I'm going to be successful. I'm going to have problems. I'm going to have obstacles. I'm going to have barriers. But I'm going to overcome them. And I believe, the key word, guys, is believe that I can do this.
You know what else I think is important too is knowing you're worthy of those things also.
Yes, you got to
know that you're deserving and worthy of what you want to bring into your life.
There's a book called The Magic of Believing, or The Power of Believing. I've read it twice already. I'm going to have to look it up. I think it's The Magic of Believing. Phenomenal book. It's all about beliefs and how these people have studied what happens when you believe something. Something happens when you believe you can do something in the physical universe. I don't mean to get all hocus pocus on you guys, but the law of attraction is definitely real, right? How many times in your life have you guys thought about something and then you thought about your buddy and all of a sudden he calls you or texts you? That's an intention, right? You can do that in business and life and as an entrepreneur, have intention of doing something.
And it's like your brain pays more attention when it does come because you have it there. So it's just like thinking I want a car and then all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. Yep. It's like your brain is putting attention on those things and that just making the road to get to it quicker.
Yep. And I think you have to constantly keep it in your mind. It has to stay there. Like you have to become fanatical.
So I do, like, we write it down, but I also like will go and find photos online and ideas of what I'm visualizing online, and I'll put it as my screensaver in my phone, so I have it on image also instead of just writing it down. So I think that's important. That's something you could do also. But
I want to get into the exact science, how I feel like, because this is my favorite topic on mindset, manifesting the life you want. So the way the law of attraction has worked out for me in my life personally, I can't speak for Mama Rood, maybe I can a little bit, and for you other guys, but when I think about something and it stays wandering in my mind, and I really like focus on it, what happens is like people, circumstances, ideas, happenstances randomly line up for me to get that thing or that goal or that object or that whatever it may be in your life. But it doesn't just happen. Like it presents itself to me, and then I have to go get it. So you understand, I'm not talking hocus pocus here. Like you can, I'm sure some of you guys have read The Law of Attraction and watched that movie. We've done all that, but I think there's a lot of truth in that. And I do think, you go dig deep into quantum physics, thoughts are definitely things. It's a vibration. It's a frequency. When you think a thought, everything is energy. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. This table I'm sitting on, this chair, you listening to this podcast, streaming, it's all energy. And when you think a thought, it sends out. A thought is a frequency and a vibration. And it goes out, and you will match and pull in other similar frequencies and vibrations. But it doesn't mean that it's going to do it for you. I think it'll present itself, and then you take action.
You take action.
The frequency or the thought is, the intention is the first thing. The thought is the second, or maybe it's the thought, then the intention. And then the tertiary thing is you got to have the balls to take action.
Yep.
That has been my experience of manifesting the life I want and making my dreams and goals true. How about you, Mama? What say you about this?
I mean, I agree. I mean, you have to take action on it. And I think there was a lot of times in our life that there were scary opportunities, and we were like, man, this is like a really risky, but it was those things that we took action on that made the big things in our life happen. We did a lot of scary things. I mean, we mitigated the risk of what that action is going to take, but it was like, okay, like if we want to be over here, like we've got to do those big risky jumps, and we mitigated the risk, but we still took the leap. Even though it was scary, you still have to like take the leap and actually do it, and you have to have self-confidence that you can fulfill what you're doing.
Doesn't mean you ain't gonna have mistakes. Doesn't mean you ain't gonna have screw ups. I mean, I've got plenty of screw ups. Doesn't mean you're not gonna have bad people that show up in your life. I think that's life, right? I think that's the experience of life. You can't always.
But you have to be fluid. Like you have to keep on going and just move. Whichever way you need to move to get to the other side of those things.
Bruce Lee said it best. You got to be like water. Right. Water. What does water do? It moves and adjusts to its environment to fill the space. Right, to go and get where it needs to go, and you got to be just like water, and you got to be intentional, and you're gonna have to take action, and you're gonna have to go through barriers. But another thing that I would say, a fourth thing, is that you got to be honest and ethical.
Oh, absolutely.
You're not going to manifest with your life by, we're dealing with a scumbag right now who's actually was a student of mine who's pretty much screwed my wife over and lied and cheated her. To get what he wanted and to screw another.
Well, a lot of it is just pure selfishness.
Yeah, and he's going to cave himself in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I told him. I said, stop letting it linger in bitterness, because he's going to get what he's asking for.
Oh, no doubt about it.
No doubt.
I've seen it. You cannot, you reap what you sow. And that I've seen that firsthand. People say, oh, there's no some people may believe there's no consequences to nothing. And there's, karma is a real thing.
Like you said, you never met a successful criminal.
No.
They all get caught.
And this guy's a criminal. Like, remember how he begged to work with me? He begged to work with me, and I kept saying, no, I don't want to work with you. And then finally I let him in, and he literally lied, manipulated, maneuvered, like criminal stuff.
But ethics is so important. Like, honestly, you can do all these things, but if you're not living an ethical life, like, good stuff is not going to come towards you. It might come for a fleeting moment, but it goes away pretty quickly.
Now, once you start manifesting the life you want, you're going to start feeling like, wow, there is some magic in life.
Yeah.
I think there are spiritual laws to life. There's a great book called The Four Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. I forgot her name. It's a woman that wrote it, and it's about giving. It's about doing the right thing. And I do think that, you can help exponentially fast track your abundance in life by giving. Like, giving has been a huge, you know how much money I've given to my church. I mean, you see me, I've been doing that since I was 22 years old. You can see, you would have anxiety about, how much money I would give to my church. But you've seen it firsthand. Yeah. Like helping, you want to help, like how they say that I've never seen somebody going broke helping people or giving. You can't go broke giving. I forgot what the exact saying is, but so there's a lot of things, and now you don't want to give with the expectations of receiving, but that's how the universe is just rigged, right? Because everything's energy. I think everything's flows, and if you flow energy out, you're going to get energy that comes back in, right? So now, doesn't mean that I'm telling you this, that you just start giving money away and all of a sudden it's going to come back, but I've seen it happen. Maybe it will. Maybe it will, and I've actually seen it happen more often than not. Yeah. So write your goals down, have a plan, visualize in your mind's eye, right? I do believe we're spiritual beings having a humanoid existence. I don't think I'm a humanoid having a spiritual existence. I'm a spiritual being having a humanoid existence. This is what makes human beings special on this planet. Yeah, we're in the animal bodies, but how many animals are recording podcasts right now?
Yeah, you could do big things. Like,
how many animals drive automobiles? How many animals have created cell phones, fly to the moon? Zero. It ain't because of your brain that you're smart, folks. There's animals on this planet that have bigger brains. You are a spiritual being. And I do believe you have to act in a spiritual manner to create a spiritual life. Yep. You can't just be caught up in the fleshly animal stuff of, of being a human, right? So what's a spiritual life, right? Giving, doing the right thing, having good intentions, right? Helping your fellow humans, and just being an overall good person, right? Yeah. And I think when you're an overall good person, I think the law of attraction and you manifesting what you want gets propulsion behind it, gets like jet fuel behind it. If you're a bad person, I think it almost
let me tell you the one downside of being a great person, doing all those things. You know what? One thing that can mess that up?
What's that?
Environment.
Oh, 100%.
You can have all those things, but then you walk into a really shitty environment or a toxic environment, or you have a few toxic friends, like that can sink you quick, even though you doing all those good things.
Toxic friends. Let's talk about toxic family.
So environment's huge.
It ain't just. Listen, you don't.
It could be family. It could be friends. It could be a coworker. It could be anybody. Toxic people can ruin everything you've worked for. So.
Yep. Well, they're bad intentioned people, and they think that your win is their loss. And they think if they can get you to lose, they will win. It's a really warped way of thinking about life, and it's an unhealthy state of mind. So what do? Listen, let's just be real here. Most people are not going to be happy for you winning. Yeah. People that are not happy with their own life are not going to be happy for you winning. So how many times do you see, and I experienced this firsthand, you get all excited because you start a business. And most of you guys follow me, entrepreneurs, real estate guys, you start a business, you start doing real estate, you start making some money. And what do you want to do? You want to tell everybody about it. Because you want everybody.
Because you're excited. You want other people to be excited for you.
And you want to say, hey, man, why are you not doing this? Yeah. I'm making money. I remember when I first started doing full-time wholesaling, and I was making $50,000-$70,000 grand a month, right? And I was like, this is unbelievable. This is probably 2015, 16 when I first got into wholesale. Just coming off the quick lube car wash and mechanic shops, and I was doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in revenue, but I wasn't netting 50, 60 grand. And
especially on your own.
I had 30 employees, overhead, notes. Yeah. I was making 50 to 70 grand a month. Some months I did six figures, and it was just me and my personal assistant. Yep. With a little bit of marketing money. So
you got excited, and
I got excited, and I started telling everybody and my family, and they're like,
And you had good intentions
Yeah.
behind saying those things. You were just, finally happy that you were doing well. And you think those people in your life are going to be happy for you.
Friends, family, and some people are. Some people like, and you genuinely tell people because you want them to have the same wins you're having. You're like, oh, that's dangerous. Oh, man, I'll be careful about that. So this is why it's so important to be around other entrepreneurs and hang around other people that have good intentions, have the same goals.
Yep.
And aspirations as you. Do not have high-level conversations with low-level thinking people. And I don't mean that to be derogatory. I mean to tell you that you cannot talk to people about building wealth, having a great life, making money if they're not doing the same thing.
Right.
Or if they're not winning in life.
They can't relate.
They can't have it. They're going to think you crazy. They're going to talk shit on you. They're going to think you're bragging. This is why it's so important to go to masterminds. Go to events, entrepreneurial events, go to real estate conferences and masterminds. Always go to the Allies Mastermind. I would never miss that one.
Of course.
When's the next one, Mama? Next week.
A couple weeks.
No, next week. Not this weekend, but next.
Yeah, December 2nd and 3rd.
If you hadn't made it to that one, the next one will be...
It's going to be epic.
In March. We do them every quarter. But what we do is we attract like-minded people who have an abundance frame of mind, who are happy for you when you make money, and you're happy for them, and we all help each other.
And you could work as a team.
Yeah, work as a team. And realize that if you are following me and you listen to this podcast, you are a weirdo. If you're an entrepreneur,
you're thinking big. You feel weird because other people are probably not having these conversations.
Most people do not talk about money. It's taboo.
Yeah.
Because they've been taught, or they have a warped way of thinking about money, or their parents have kind of brainwashed them. You are a weirdo. You're 3% of the population. True entrepreneurs are 3% of the population, meaning every 100 people out there, 3 people are going to be an entrepreneur that are born. So
successful entrepreneur.
Just case in point, I mean, we have 5 kids, right? Yeah. I'd be lucky if one of my kids is an entrepreneur. Just because me and Patty are entrepreneurial, especially me, I've been like this since I was selling baseball cards out of the back of my book sack in 3rd and 4th grade. Yeah. Didn't even know what I was doing, right? Just had a knack for it. So I'm just born this way. And I do believe entrepreneurs are born. I don't think I think they can be on, or they made, I think they're more born than they're made, because what's the fail rate? 90%.
Very high, yeah.
So it tells you a lot of people want to be an entrepreneur.
I mean, it's definitely a characteristic you have to be able to train your mind to do what you need to do to be an entrepreneur. It's hard.
Yeah, and we're all circling back to this. I don't mean to get off topic. We're circling back to this because it's all environment and hanging around people that are thinking like
that are supporting your dreams.
Yes.
You're gonna need support.
Build the team and tribe.
It takes a village.
Yeah. I mean, and if your wife's not entrepreneurial, it's okay as long as she supports you, because your wife could be your biggest detriment to you being successful. You might be a very talented entrepreneur, but your wife may be somebody that's just limited mindset, very scared, doesn't want you to take any risks. Listen, the riskiest thing you're gonna do is not take risk in this life. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, most people live quiet lives of desperation. I forgot who said that. Was it Edgar Allan Poe or one of those guys from the 1800s? Somebody smart said that. He said most people live quiet lives of desperation because they don't take any risk. They don't have a plan. They don't have goals. They're not intentional. And the biggest thing is that they're probably around a bunch of people that are naysayers telling them they can't do it, bringing them down. So important. I would say environment's probably more important than writing your goals and having a plan and attracting the life you want and being intentional, because you can do all those things, but if everybody around you is just jabbing at you all day, it will suck.
You're not going to take the leap.
No.
You're not going to take the leap if everybody around you is telling you, no, don't do that. It's too risky. I mean, you have to have a good village. And I think a lot of people did support us. And I think that's why we've been able to do the things that we can do now. Yeah. Because we had a village, a good village. People will suck the life out of you that are not on. But we've had a lot of people that not support us, that we've kicked out of our life. We've had both sides of the spectrum. Right. I mean, and what does that look like, right? I want to give you guys some. I was about to say, you have to know what to look for to find the people who are good for you and the people who are toxic for you. You have to be able to spot that. What does that look like, right? They're constantly making little criticisms about you. They'll jab. It's like a covert snake that they jabbing at you and they're making little comments. And
you know, and it's good to have some constructive criticism. It really is, but you should only be getting constructive criticism from coaches and mentors that are where you are at, that where you want to be in life. Do not take criticism from people that are not trying to do what you're doing, or not doing better than your life, or are a bunch of miserable people that are just trying to, you know, they said misery loves company. And the truth is, your friends don't want you to be better than you. Your friends do not want you doing better than you in life. I hate to say that, but it's the facts. You want me to tell you what you want to hear, what you need to hear? Because this podcast is not about bullshit. This podcast is about speaking hard truths, right?
Yep.
And my name's Chris Rood, and I speak hard truths.
Yep.
That's
sometimes
the truth.
Too much.
Too much truth sometimes, and that's. But you got to live in the truth, right? Yeah. But I think overall, if you have, let's just recap this. Going into 2023, we're coming into, you know, some a little bit choppy water, you know, things, the economy slowing down, interest rates are going up. It doesn't mean you can't make money. It just means that you have to pivot. How many times have we had to pivot?
Several.
Half a dozen times in our business life.
And we're studying what we need to pivot right now or in a few months. Like, you always need to be educating yourself on where and when should we pivot, you know?
Yep. Pivot, make adjustments, figure out what's needed and wanted, have a plan, write down your goals, right? I could tell you, Patty and I, everything we've accomplished was on paper. The only thing we haven't bought yet that we wrote on paper was buy a jet or an airplane.
That's pretty much it. And sometimes, like, I would have an exact something, and the option that would come along was way better than I even had in my head. Like,
being intentional will change your life, folks. Do not be a stick that just floats in the river. And I like to use analogies, and being intentional is about having a boat and you're rowing that boat down that river versus just a stick that's just thrown in the river and it just bounces off the bank and it goes everywhere. That's people that have no intention, meaning they don't know what they want. State what you want, write it down, watch how things, happenstances, people, events will line up in your life to get you what you want. And that's what the law of attraction is about. It's just energy and people, and everything has a magnetic pull to it. Whatever you think about, you will attract in life, right? So
try to think about the positive things. Try not to be, you know, focusing on negative all the time, because that too can
and I struggle with that personally.
I fuss at him too, because I'm like, listen, you can't always just listen to the what ifs and the bad stuff, because then that'll make your brain work backwards, really, you know. But
you can't be so naive to think that you can't get hurt either.
You can't be naive.
But you definitely want to be, you know, I'm hopefully optimistic, but I'm more, I don't like to say I'm a pessimist, I'm a realist. I'm an optimistic realist, right? But the things that, how we've gotten as far as have we gotten in life is having a plan, being intentional.
Being ethical. Right environment.
In the right environment, being around the right people, right? And that
was probably one of the, like you said, the hardest parts is environment.
Cutting people out of life.
Once you get past it and you've done it, it's like, okay, it works. It's like, I don't have all this mess in my life anymore.
Yes.
You could focus on the things that matter.
People are messy. That's why we don't have friends, folks. Yep. I say it all the time. I don't have friends, I have allies, right?
That's right.
Friends give me hangovers, allies help me make money. And when you understand that concept, that you got to be, and this message is not for everybody. This message is for entrepreneurs and real estate guys that follow me. If you follow me and you like to work 40 hours a week and you drink beer on the weekends and smoke dope, and that's your biggest, you know, event in life, you're probably following the wrong guy. Like, or
maybe they're doing that, but they want to change.
Or they want to change, because I used to be that guy. I used to be on drugs.
You used to be a loser. Don't let him fool you.
Yeah, I used to, from 17 to 22.
It was not good.
I was a rock star with no guitar. Yep. I was a partier. I was just wild and crazy.
I knew you before that, and I knew you after that, and I knew that was just a seasonal part, that, you know, that wasn't who you really were. But sometimes alcohol and drugs hide who we really are. Like, well,
they change your personality.
Yes, they change who you are, and you just need to, you know, get back to who you really are.
Yeah, because and that's another thing that will mess up the law of attraction. I'm glad you brought that. Alcohol and drugs will destroy your intentionality about life. If you are an alcoholic if you are doing drugs, and that includes prescription drugs, Xanax, Adderall, Valium, all those mind-altering drugs that keep you high, if you're doing all that stuff and you're trying to crush your goals and you're drinking every night, that will mess up your intentionality. That will mess up the vibrational energy in the universe, and you will not get what you want. I know that for a fact. My life cleaned up when I started being able to control my thoughts. You cannot control your thoughts high all the time.
Yeah.
You cannot control your thoughts drunk all the time. You cannot control your thoughts on cocaine or ecstasy or crystal meth, right? Turns you into a crazy person. So get your body clean, lift weights, read, and start thinking about the ideal life that you want, and watch how the universe will move stuff in your vision, and then go for it. Take the action to go grab it. It's not going to do it for you, but it will put it in your way. Last thoughts, Mama.
I just love this topic. For us, it's just been so magical that it kind of makes me emotional. You have to have big goals. Chris is I say this all the time, like, you're a big being, and he has to have big goals to fulfill his purpose. I don't know if that's the same for every human being. Like, I can't say that, but I see you as this big being that you need to do big things, and I'm like willing to support you on that. So I just love watching what this has done for our life, because it's just it's been so worth it. Yeah. It's been magical, really.
And there's no roadmap. The thing is, there's no roadmap.
Because we didn't start out we had a baby at 17. It wasn't like we had this silver spoon or anything. Like, we did it all on our own. Yes, we had our parents help with the baby, but it wasn't like we were just given this.
We did everything backwards.
Yeah, we
messed up.
We did everything backwards. We got married 5 years after our baby was born. We struggled with marriage for a while. We had a baby young. Like, everything was backwards.
But the key, I would say, what got us out of all this mess, and I'll wrap it up with this, is that we constantly worked on ourselves. We
constantly did the right thing.
Yeah, personal development.
We just took the next step on doing the right thing. Yep. We knew it was hard. It sucked sometimes. But we were like, well, what's the right thing to do?
Always skilling up. And I don't say skilling up because it's some cool, like, I live that shit. Like, I'm always doing something to make me better. All the time. Like, I have to read every morning. I have to go work out. I have to do something to create more value in my life, so that I become more valuable as a being, as a person, as a human being, so that I can get value from life, right? Yeah. You're only going to get as much value from life as how valuable of a person you are.
That's true.
All right, guys. Appreciate you coming on. If you haven't subscribed yet to this will be uploaded onto Apple Podcasts and Spotify and YouTube. Follow us. Follow me at Real Estate Rood on Instagram, Chris Rood on Facebook, and my business page on Facebook, Chris Rood Entrepreneur. I'm on LinkedIn also. Hit the subscribe button if you're here on YouTube. Give me a like. Give me a follow. Leave a comment if you agree. Maybe you think I'm full of shit. I'm okay with that. Tell me I'm full of shit. I just want you to...
I tell him he's full of shit all the time.
Yeah. So just leave me some feedback. And Mama, where can they follow you?
On Instagram, Living the Real Estate Life, and on Facebook, Patty Rood.
Yep. And if you need some coaching, go to chrisrood.com or inbox me or DM me on social media. And I'll see you at the next podcast. Peace.